Hi, and welcome to God in 10 Minutes. I'm Jack. This time, it's kind of a follow-up to the Lunar Zodiac because it's about the ancient Chinese characters, the language, the first language of the Chinese. And just like the solar zodiac, the lunar zodiac tells the story of Jesus and his people, his return, his triumph, and his setup as the king of the earth. The lunar zodiac says that same thing in 28 different houses is what they're called, instead of constellations. Well, somebody who had a really close connection with God and the early history of the earth must have known must have been involved in making up that lunar zodiac. And the same thing goes for the language. The same exact thing. Now, I believe it was Noah. Okay? I believe Noah was the progenitor of the Chinese. And who better to know all that stuff than Noah? Right? The lunar zodiac, if you've seen that short video that I did, was was known as far back as 2300 BC, maybe before. And the Romans and the Greeks, they hardly even knew it existed. You know, and that was centuries and centuries later. 2300 BC. Characters 20, yeah, that's 2300, that's 300, that's 2500 is when the language started, and that's at least 300 years after the flood. You know, there's plenty of time. The book I've got here is called The Discovery of Genesis. And what's the date there? The date is there, 1981, 17, what is it, 1979, I couldn't read that. C.H. Kang and Ethel R. Nelson, okay? Discovery of Genesis. Fascinating stuff, okay? It's supposed that the Chinese originally migrated from a site in Mesopotamia. For they show evidences of similarity to the later Babylon-Assyrian culture in arts, sciences, and government. The approximate date of their origin, 2500 BC, is surprisingly close to the strict chronological dating of the great event of the Tower of Babel, which resulted in the divisions of all mankind into the new linguistic groups and the consequent dispersion of peoples over the face of the earth. If God at that time truly confused the mother tongues of the earth, these people carried with them a newly acquired spoken language when they migrated. They also must have been and had an accurate knowledge of historical events from the beginning of time, which they communicated by word of mouth. This should have been an accurate record, since the time span was only 3 patriarchal generations. Adam, Methuselah, and then Shem. Okay? Well, this book has got page after page of Chinese characters and explaining what they say, what the elements are, and all that. And that's what we're going to take a look at. The word first. The word first. Now you gotta stop and say, well, if I was making up a language and it was made up of smaller characters that put together tell a story, the way our words tell a sentence, what would I depict in the character as first? I'll bet it wouldn't be what they had. First. Here's first. Okay? First, well, there's a man, and then there's this little mark here always means life or live or action. A man, action, man, and this cross with the line underneath is dust. That's Adam. That's the first man. First in Old Chinese character contains man, dust, and live. Oh, here's a good one. Okay. There's a couple words for something on the water. A vessel, there's a character for vessel, okay? But just like we add suffixes and prefixes to words and so forth to change the meaning of them a little bit, there's also a character, a fuller character that has the word boat. Boat. Okay, well, try to imagine what you would put together to boat. Wouldn't you have water? You have some kind of a container, a box, or something like that. That's not what they had, huh? They had vessel, live again, live, 8. The number 8, and then the word, the little character that means mouth. So there's 4 things involved in the word boat. There's 4 aspects. And look at that. See, there's 8. That's 8. Okay. And there's vessel. Okay. 8 vessel. And there's the 8. And there's a vessel. And there's live or live. And there's mouth. Well, what have you got there? You've got a vessel with 8 live mouths. That's Noah and the flood. How did that get to be the Chinese word boat? Huh? Did maybe somebody who knew about the flood and this big, huge boat that never did? Of course. Of course. The whole book is full of that stuff. Okay? How about the word devil? Devil. Okay, well, the devil's made up of several characters again. It's not just one character. Devil. Well, in the first place, how do the Chinese know about devil? You know? And the devil that we know from the Bible has several high points in his career, right? But what's the very top thing that he did, his greatest triumph, actually, in all of history up till today, his greatest triumph, what was that? Wasn't it with Eve in the garden? Subverting the whole human race? That's pretty good stuff for him, okay? Well, watch what happens with the word devil. Okay, it's made up of several characters again. Okay, and here you got the character for man, and that's mouth, but it's got an X in the middle, so it's a garden, an enclosure of some kind. And that little guy there means secret, private. Well, that makes devil, man, garden, private. But there's another one in there. It's got that live thing in there. So we've got a live man in a garden doing something in secret. Well, that's what happened with the devil and Eve, wouldn't it? He came upon her deceptively, secretly, privately, you know, in the garden. Huh? A live being? Devil. If we want to call the devil a tempter, that's what he did, right? Tempter. What do we add to devil? See, there's devil, right? Live, garden, secret, man. Well, what's the most important feature? The two most important features in the garden, named specifically, okay? They're the only ones that I know were named specifically, okay? Two things in the garden were named specific. The two trees, right? Tree of good and evil, knowledge of good and evil, and the tree of life, okay? And where was Adam and Eve? Not Adam and Eve, but Eve and the serpent, Satan. Where were they when they had their encounter and he deceived her into eating the fruit? They were by the tree, weren't they? By the tree of knowledge of good and evil? Hey, look at that. Did God say you would really die? No, you really die? Huh? Two trees. Under the cover of those two trees, that's where he did his dastardly deed. Okay. Well, if we want to make it into a tempter, see, we've got devil, and then all we do is add. See that? That's the character for tree. And there's two of them. Two trees in the garden. And this character means cover. And you put the two trees on top of the devil and cover the whole thing over, and you have tempter. Look at that. See the cover over the top with the two trees on top of the devil that we had before? How did the Chinese know about that? Huh? I think it was Noah. Yeah, I think it was Noah. Okay? And who's behind Noah? God. God in 10 minutes. The Chinese language. Get that book. It's just so fascinating. It goes on and on and on. There's hundreds and hundreds, not just a few, hundreds of these characters that are made up of Bible stuff. God in 10 minutes. Thanks for watching. God bless.